All right, guys, welcome to the Sweet Science of Fighting instructional channel. Myself, James, and Ryan here. This is the third installment of the triangle choke series. And if you watched the previous video on the leg press method, this is a continuation on as we look to, or if you get stacked, especially if you have short legs as well. And of course, check the description. You can actually talk to Ryan within the private community. If you have any more questions on the stuff, there's also access to all my strength conditioning programs within there too as part of that. But we'll get straight into it.
We're actually going to talk about the most common response that we get when we're doing somebody, we get somebody in a triangle and what they're actually going to do. The most common response is going to be getting stacked. For the longest time when I started jiu-jitsu, my neck was always hurting. It was always messed up. And I was like, why is my neck always hurting? Well, first of all, it's because I was the smallest guy in the gym, but also because all the big guys I would throw a triangle on, I'd be great at getting to a soft lock here. I get it. And then I just get stacked and just get crushed. And then I end up letting go. They end up passing, okay? This is actually beneficial to us. So you got to look at the stack as you want them to stack, okay? So when you get good at this, you're going to encourage the stack. Most of the times I get a triangle. Oh, sorry. But yeah, let me go this way. Most of the time when I get a triangle, a soft lock, I find it a little harder when guys start to pull back. I mean, this is a little tougher to deal with because I have to use more energy to bring him back in. But when somebody stacks me and he starts to get up and he like really stacks me here, this is great, okay? And the reason why this is great is I need to take myself off of alignment. Now remember, we're not trying to grab our shin here and use this method anymore. I'm simply controlling his posture, okay? Now, when he starts to stack me and I get on my neck, you'll notice that my hand here, my bottom arm, can connect to the leg, okay? It's just kind of backhanding his leg here. What this does is it actually helps me turn this corner. When I turn this corner, my knee, and he's still gonna stack me here. Go ahead and stack me, yeah, perfect. Do you see, like, you can't see this really, but we'll show you a different angle. My knee is starting to face the mat. My right leg, this knee is facing the mat. And what happens is now my hips can come up. And as my hips come up, it's a very tight triangle, okay? I highly encourage everyone to watch the basic triangle of how this was explained. All that detail still applies here. This is just making it actually technically slightly easier, okay? So, and this is gonna be true for reverse triangle and your regular triangle. I typically find myself with more advanced people doing a reverse triangle with this method, okay, rather than the regular triangle. But we'll talk about that later. So, yeah, let's do this way real quick so we can see the front position here. So I get my soft lock here. I control posture. I must control posture at all times. And as he stacks me, I'm getting balled up, okay? I'm not flat, I'm balled up. My right arm is just gonna turn, and you'll notice, just watch my knee right here. Watch what happens to this knee. Do you see how my knee starts to turn down to the ground? And look at where my thigh's at. It's like on the back of his neck almost. You could grab here if you needed it, but you really don't. I just drag my hips up. My hips come up. It's super tight. Sorry, James. Heard some gurgling. Right there. For the people, as we say. Doing it for the people. But it really is. It's a much tighter triangle. And always remember too. I just want to point out one other detail. I won't stick them into the triangle, but this is true for arm bars as well. Whenever you get stacked, do not try to do not stay in alignment and accept that the stack is going over your neck, okay? Whenever I'm getting stacked in a triangle, I'm kind of shifting his weight to my shoulder, okay? So I'm kind of like a shoulder roll, okay? And what that means is, just so I lied, I'm gonna stick it back in the triangle. So what that means is, I know that just made no sense what I just said, if I just say it like that. If I get here, okay, and he starts to stack me like this, I don't want to go and just take it all on my neck here. I can still finish here, boom, right? But let's just say I get the triangle and that's not working. I can't get my knee down because I've already got it locked in, right? He starts to stack me, I'm going over my shoulder. Do you see that? And I don't even have the triangle locked in. But if I had this triangle locked in, it would be a finish as we're going to the ground. I went off camera there a little bit, but I'm basically just doing a shoulder roll, okay? This is also true for arm bars, which we can talk about later, but I'm going over my shoulder, not over my neck. This is a big mistake that I see a lot of beginners make, even advanced guys, honestly. I'll see this, getting in the mix of a training session or even a competition, and they're just getting stacked and their knee is like touching their head, and this is all the pressure's on your neck. No good. This is why the stack works. So if you can shift the weight to the shoulder, which is surprisingly easy to do, it takes the weight off the neck, obviously, and it also shifts his weight completely in the wrong direction, right? He needs his weight in alignment basically with you. So yeah, to consider the stack is actually not such a negative thing to be terrified of, because I used to be just terrified of the stack because the guy's going to stack me, he's going to hurt, he's going to pass. This is not the case anymore. You need to think of yourself balled up and rotating around someone's neck. Okay, so just consider that, and you actually be encouraging the stack now. All right, so we're here, crunch, crunch, and when he stacks, I get the posture, he starts to stack. I'm gonna go over my shoulder, you see this? And this doesn't put any pressure on my neck anymore. And as a matter of fact, I would finish with a belly down triangle. Right? It's pretty incredible how much pressure you can actually generate from that angle. Until you actually feel it, it's the amount of pressure it's surprising how much you can actually generate. And there's no there's no pressure on your neck, and you completely change the stack now. The stack's no longer there because the angle has changed. So this is certainly a very kind of nuanced movement, I would say, that not people really focus on when they talk about triangles. But we actually want to technically accept the stack to a certain degree so that we can actually achieve these angles.